Welcome back to RGO Photo. I'm Chris. So now we've tested the OG 28 to 80 against the 28 to 135 IS USM lenses. So now let's show some example photos from each of these. So we've got the 28 to 80 mounted on the 5D Mark II and the 28 to 135 on the Canon 6D. So let's start with the 5D Mark II and the OG. So here we got kind of a faux portrait, if you will, of some parking meters. And if the tree and shadow are a little too distracting, let's take it into a 1x1 and get rid of most of that. Here we got the US Olympic and Paralympic Museum. And we got the Rose and Pikes Peak in the background. You can see the blurry snow-capped mountain. That's July 8th. Yes, snow on July 8th. Now here we got another faux portrait of a fire plug, and normally I tend to frame my subjects in the lower left just because we kind of read left to right, but in this case, with the fire plug kind of almost looking like it's facing to the left, I would normally frame that in the lower right, but I purposefully did this opposite and still framed it in the lower left, even though it's kind of facing to the left, if you will. So I don't know if that's better or worse, but I just wanted that one to be a little bit different. So we got a long exposure here looking down into the creek. This is a low angle shot, and we don't have a whole lot going on above the halfway mark of the frame. So a great candidate to do the 1x1. Now we're switching over to the Canon 6D with the 28 to 135 on it. Just got a lovely sunflower here. And this is a JPEG straight out of camera from Florida. It's a palm. It's the intersection of a palm frond, I think it's called. And this is another JPEG. For some reason, I just didn't have my camera set on RAW, and this is a lovely, lovely sunrise. Little graffiti from underneath of a bridge. And standing in the creek, I don't think I've reused this shot from the other one. I think this is a similar shot to one I've showed previously, so I'm trying not to duplicate. But anyway, I think there's not a whole lot going on in that top 20% and the bottom 20%. So again, another great candidate that I would like to go square in a 1x1. So here's that same fire plug, but now shot with the 60. And this is kind of how I would normally frame that. Lower right, because it kind of looks like it's facing to the left, and then just allow that spiral to take you back toward the Olympic Museum. And another shot of those roses, but this time on the 6D. Got the background blurry. Kind of tried to put that fence line coming out of the bottom right corner. And this photo isn't so much anything special, just showing how colorful that park is, because it is an extremely colorful playground. So those are some example pics from these old Canon DSLRs with these old Canon USM lenses. I believe this is the 1991, this is 1998 design. Don't know when these specific lenses were made, but that's when they came out. Now I've got another lens from Canon that I'd like to test, and this is another USM lens. We've got a 28 to 105. The interesting thing about this lens, so this is the 28 to 105 2 USM. So this is the second version of this lens. But this is a 3.5 to 4.5. So it's less than one stop of light loss as you cycle through the focal lengths from 28 to 105. So that's kind of neat. It's less than a one stop change from 3.5 to 4.5. So be interesting how this performs. So we're going to pit this up against the strong suit of each of these two lenses right here. So we're going to go up against definitely the 28mm on the OG, and probably every other corresponding one up against by the 28 to 105. Although I do think there was a strong spot on the 80mm on this. It was darker, but anywho, that's what we're going to do probably in the next video. Hope you liked this one. If you did, give us that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down there. And as always, Thanks for watching.